Well, for more on this developing situation in Ottawa with Donald Trump now weighing in, let's go to CTV political analyst Eric Ham. Thank you so much for joining us as always, Eric. You know, it's not too often that Americans are really focused on Canadian politics, but these are different times. Talk a little bit about the president-elect weighing in on what happened yesterday here in Canada, and how are Americans viewing what's unfolding here in Canada?
Well, I think what we're seeing now is Donald Trump is making sure that his presence is felt and heard around the world on many issues that are happening. And clearly what we're seeing here is he's attempting to try to not only troll the prime minister, but also place his finger on the pulse on internal politics within Canada. Is this a good thing? Perhaps not, but clearly what we're seeing here is Donald Trump certainly wants a deal with Canada, but also what we're seeing here is Donald Trump still, I think, is fuming from a hot mic moment with the prime minister that took place years ago during an event at NATO. And Donald Trump is not happy about that. And I think what we're seeing here is, of course, he's making this 150-year sacrosanct relationship between Canada and the United States. He's certainly putting it in jeopardy, not only with the threat of forthcoming tariffs, but also as he continues to troll the prime minister as well as the country, suggesting that somehow it's a state and therefore obedient to the United States, which, of course, we know that it's not. This is a relationship that's built on two countries as equals.
Yeah, and given the fact that we're the biggest trading partner with the Americans, obviously this would have these tariffs would have major implications on the American side of the border. But when you look at who might have some of the political leverage here, it looks as though that, I mean, we're feeling it. There's a lot of fear in Canada about what these tariffs could do to not only the economy, but for jobs. And I'm wondering, as an analyst, do you think that right now that the president-elect has the leverage? I mean, he wants us to crack down on the border and stop the flow of illegal immigrants and drugs flowing into the country. What's your take? Do you think he's going to be successful in getting what he wants?
Well, look, the president-elect has made clear that he's prepared to go to war with the entire world over this issue of trade. We know that not only is he threatening China, Canada, and Mexico, the three biggest trading partners of the United States, but he's also threatening other countries as well if they don't, in fact, take deportees from the United States. And I think the question is not so much, can Canada actually subsist with these tariffs? I think the question is, can the United States actually subsist? And what does it mean for American citizens if, in fact, Donald Trump is prepared to engage in a trade war with all of the United States' biggest partners, particularly when you consider so many goods come from around the world into the United States, but more importantly, so many goods require components from other places around the world to actually be able to be made here in the United States. That's something that I don't think the president-elect has quite taken into account. And it could see the stock market and, of course, the U.S. economy come to a screeching halt.
And given the fact that, you know, both of our countries, we're both dealing with a housing crisis, and one of the products that we send to the Americans is our steel and our lumber, which goes towards the building of housing. And I'm wondering, is the president-elect feeling any pressure from whether it's unions or just, you know, overall the American people saying, hey, listen, I understand you want what's best for the American people and want the best deal, but these tariffs could really hurt us at a time when we need to build and the country is, you know, has taken in a lot of people. We need to build houses for these people.
You know, I think we have to actually step back and oftentimes look at this not necessarily as a policy difference or fight. We have to remember, Donald Trump is someone who made his bones with the New York media. He's someone who is a former reality television star. And oftentimes, I think what we have to recognize is Donald Trump is looking for an enemy. He's looking to build drama, of course, so he can come in and say that he actually solved the problem, even when there is not one. We know that Canada has been very aggressive on the U.S.-Canadian border with immigration and, of course, has cracked down. But I think clearly what we're seeing here is Donald Trump is not only weighing in on the political turmoil there, but he's using it to great effect and ensure that he not only wins the news cycle, but also to create drama where there is none, and then to be able to step in and say he solved the problem, of course, when we know this was a self-created problem by Donald Trump. And so I think that's also something that we have to look at. And that's why I say oftentimes that Donald Trump is actually trolling Canada. He's trolling the prime minister and not necessarily looking for a solution to a problem. And we also have to remember it was Donald Trump himself who negotiated the U.S. Mexico-Canada free trade agreement. So we're talking about a deal that was actually orchestrated under Donald Trump himself.
Always appreciate your analysis. That's CTV's Eric Ham. Thank you.